お前はもう死んでる。
何?
You're listening to Anime XM with Boba and Mocha, the #1 anime podcast in the universe. Because we said so.
Welcome to Anime XM.
I'm Boba.
And I'm Mocha. And today we're going to be talking about
Food in anime.
We've got some guests today, some very special guests. One of them, you already know, he was our intern, Hoshiru. Welcome back, Hoshiru.
We didn't fire you yet.
He's not fired. We were thinking about it, but we're not going to. We like him, for the most part. And we have a brand new guest today. Today we are joined by Lady Luna Loveless. Can we call you Luna? Perfect. Welcome, Luna. Luna is... Tell us a little bit about what you do, Luna.
So I just recently wrote a new pagan cookbook where I show you how to forage for your own berries and herbs from the earth and create your own pagan meals.
That sounds delicious. And we're going to talk about food and how it relates to anime. I think one of the funniest things is how people eat food in anime. Sometimes it's normal, and then other times you see them like slurping up food super fast. What is with that?
I think one of my favorite instances of that is like Goku. Saiyans.
The rice.
Dragon Ball. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you put in front of them. They just like, I guess it's because they're so busy training that they only sit down like once a week and eat. So they have to consume like so much food.
Right, they're just like inhaling gobs of it.
It's like a vacuum cleaner.
Right.
They turn on a vacuum cleaner and they just like inhale everything. Sometimes you worry if they're going to eat the plates too.
Right.
There's actually a funny scene in Dragon Ball where Goku ate so much food after the World Tournament, even though he didn't win it. Master Roshi won like 10 million yen, and then he accidentally spent all of it feeding Goku in that episode.
Oh yeah, and what was the other one with the noodles? I know I've seen people like inhale noodles. Wasn't there some kind of super slurping of like all of the noodles? I don't remember.
Yeah, so in Naruto, his sensei would offer to buy him ramen, and then he would just eat all the ramen, and then his sensei would just be like, oh my god. Naruto would just slurp the noodles, and they would just never stop, and it's... and then cut to the next scene. There's just a bunch of empty bowls.
Right. It's so over the top and like over exaggerated in some anime, and I love that. Food is like very important to them. I guess because culture, you know, even like here in Louisiana, we kind of love our food too. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
One Piece, Luffy can eat as much as he wants because he can stretch his body to any portion.
Oh right, convenient.
So he literally just eats till he's fat and then he just stretches back.
Oh, that would be nice. Why can't I do that?
Yeah. Teach us how to do that, otaku dude.
Yes. You're an otaku. You should know the secret, right?
Go eat
What
a
is
devil
that?
fruit. That
Oh.
gives you the gum ability.
Okay. Where do we find this? A devil fruit?
Yes, a devil fruit.
That sounds delicious.
There are like, I think, 9 fruits in total that grant, if you eat one, it grants you powers. Although you'll never be able to swim again because for some reason, when you touch the water, it doesn't turn you to stone, but you paralyze and you can't swim.
How can you shower? Can you shower? You can't shower.
You can't move in water.
Oh, that sucks.
Or you can't swim, you just sink like a stone.
Okay, but if you're showering, you're fine.
They're pirates, they don't shower.
Oh, right, true. Good point. Well, okay, so we've got super stretchy ability to eat all of the things. And then we've got how other characters just seemingly inhale food like a vacuum. And then there are anime about food anime. Like I know Yakutate Japan was one where there was it was a bread making show, well, like a competitive show, like an Iron Chef of bread. And there's this one kid and he's got the solar hands, the legendary solar hands, and he could, which meant his hands would heat up to this exact temperature, like supposedly, and so when he kneaded the bread, it magically made it I don't know anything about making bread actually, but supposedly it made it absolutely perfect. So when he baked it, it was the most amazing bread, and when people ate the bread, they had like stars in their eyes, and you know, the whole ridiculousness of it. And I know there's other shows like that too.
Oh yeah, like in Food Wars, all the contestants that are signing up to go to this culinary school, they have this gruesome screening process where they like basically battle against each other to cook the best dish. And then there's this girl who supposedly has the god tongue, and she has the best taste in food, and she's often the judge of the contests. And it's sort of like the guy with the perfect hands.
Yeah.
Like the solar hand.
The god tongue, the solar hand. There has to be like a whole like there has to be other anime about food that have some other like the something, I don't know, eyes or the like.
Yeah. And then
the
when
legendary foot or something. Step on grapes and make the wine. I don't know. I'm just making one up now.
And then when they taste the food, they're like in ecstasy.
Yes. They're always like falling over.
They're like, oh, it's so good.
They're
Fan
crying.
service of a different kind.
Right. And then the waterfalls coming out of their eyes. Like,
Food Wars actually worked with real chefs, real master chefs on how to prepare the dishes that they prepare on the show. They actually worked with real chefs. They watched them create the dishes. They listened to what the ingredients were, and then they went and recreated the exact thing that they just watched in animation form.
So there's legitimacy to it.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, the creators of the show said that they wanted to have their food be extremely realistic. They wanted it to look like real food was cooking, almost like you could smell it, like watching an actual cooking show.
Or maybe you could pay attention enough and like learn how to cook something. Maybe that would be kind of cool.
That reminds me of the super realistic looking food cutscenes in Yuri on Ice. Like, Yuri's favorite food was a pork cutlet bowl. So you got a very like detailed animation artwork of the pork cutlet bowl. And then as they went on in the show, every cutscene had a different plate of food or a different like dish.
Oh, like even higher quality than the actual animation, or like higher detail than that's funny.
I've always wondered what the deal was with the bread, with the white bread. All the being late and white bread. They had a whole convention that they called BreadCon. It was the April Fool's deal. They called it BreadCon.
I heard about that. I didn't understand.
It was
the
a whole
joke.
bunch of anime girls, running late for school with a piece of toast, a piece of white bread, either in their mouth or in their hand while they were haphazardly running to school. And it's so prevalent in animes that cosplayers created an entire April Fool's BreadCon centered around it.
I saw
It's
pictures.
a cosplay. It's like an anime trope.
Yeah, like
It's usually how most animes start. Like, oh crap, I'm running late.
Late girl with piece of bread.
Right, the only thing that she could eat on her way to school as she was running late. Let me take that piece of toast Mom made for me or something.
Right.
I've always thought it was funny how prevalent food can be in even the simplest of form.
Right.
That they'll create a whole fake convention around it. They're like, bread is so important.
Right.
All of these animes that we all love. Really
Even
unusual.
in like Ouran High School Host Club, which is a harem anime, food was important because they would bribe Haruhi with fancy tuna.
Oh, yeah.
And they would also send her to her poor people market to buy instant coffee.
Oh, that's right, I remember. And I forget what character was like, I feel like my father will be angry if I drink it. Or like, I feel like my father, like she felt like she'd be in trouble for drinking poor people instant coffee. I was like, wow. It's a status symbol. It's important.
In Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, food is a symbol of love. Because the dragons, if you eat their tail, it's like saying that you love them. So the main characters are the main character's a dragon. No, they cut off their own tails. It grows back though.
It's so cannibalistic.
No. Like the main character is a normal human, and she
They
saved.
grow back like lizard tails.
Yeah,
The
dragons take human shape,
Oh, okay.
and
So
they can disguise themselves as humans. So
they cut the tail off first.
They cut the tail off first, and
then they turn into a
it'll
human.
grow back. No. They have like dragon features. Like also some parts of the tail are like blowfish. They're poisonous, and if you don't eat it, cook it right, it will kill you.
Oh my god, that's weird.
And that's why she never eats anything Toro makes her. But she always makes this extravagant food, and somehow she hides bits of tail in there.
That's kind of wicked. Like, secretly trying to make you ingest.
It's a symbol of love.
Yeah, I know. It's just, but yeah. I guess if you look at it that way, that's not the only time too. The whole eating of a creature tail, mermaid forest. If you eat the flesh of a mermaid, like eat a piece of the mermaid's tail, you either gain immortality and you're young and beautiful forever, or you die horribly and your eyeballs explode and all kind of horrible and you're dead. So, like, it's a 50-50 chance, you know? You might come out okay. Right, it's great. Oh, it's beautiful. Like, it was a movie originally, but then they made a series at some point. They made a series that was really good. And, but that was the thing, like, the mermaids would, like, turn old, and then they had one that was dried, and they just, like, shaved a little piece of the tail off and tried to make someone else eat it first to see, like a guinea pig, basically. It's been years since I watched it, but that was kind of, you know, I guess that counts as food in anime, right? Our theme for today. Mermaid Tail for immortality, anyone? No, I didn't think so.
There's also Kakigiri. It's not a food anime at all, but they have one of the most beautiful opening song videos where there's like fish and fruit and cheese, and it has nothing to do with the anime, but it's just so like pleasing to the eye, and I was just like, I need a snack to go with this anime.
Mm-hmm. Their little montages to food. Oh yeah, that 90s one that I love, Fushigi Yugi. The main character loves food. And there's one part where she's dreaming. She falls asleep in her class and she's dreaming about food. And there's actually hyper detailed, like, you know, images of food kind of panning across, going back to that whole, like, the food's all detailed. Just triple scoops of Choco Mint, like ice cream, and I can't remember what else. Noodles, lots of noodles.
Actually, a lot of animes nowadays are kind of bleeding away from the whole cooking our own food. Nowadays, it's just magic it up.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean magic it up?
Like exactly as it sounds.
Just
it
appears.
Or like when they're like in a world where like an isekai world, they'll like have a game menu that just as long as they have the items, they just press a few buttons in front of their face that just magically appear, and then boom, food's cooked.
Oh wow, yeah. Skip the whole process.
Example: Shield Hero.
Shield Hero is a good example, or Sword Art Online. Literally, they just.
Right.
Like a menu pops up in front of their face, and as long as they have the ingredients right there, they can just touch the buttons, and the food will like meld together and become whatever they want to cook.
Materialize.
Like in a video game.
Oh, I don't know which anime this was in, but it was clearly like a McDonald's, but it was a Whack-Donald's. It was a W.
The devil's a part-timer.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, but Whack-Donald's is super funny. it's pretty whack.
Oh. There's always the trope that whenever there's a romantic comedy going on between the two, one of them is terrible at cooking and will literally, if they cook food, it will literally kill somebody if they eat.
Yeah.
Like someone is always bad at cooking, and the other one is somehow just magically amazing at it. And then they have to try and teach the person how to cook, but the person never really learns, or they at least make something that edible where it won't kill you.
Oh yeah, and then they take a bite out of the food and they're like, oh, it's good. It's good.
I'm not dying yet. Oh, Golden Boy, I don't know. It wasn't like a super popular anime, but it's about this dude. And he works in a noodle shop. And I remember there was a lot of like scenes of them rolling the noodles and stuff that I thought it was so weird that they, like, the anime has really nothing to do with food specifically other than he works at the noodle shop, at least from what I remember. But it was just a lot of like emphasis on like whose noodles were better. And someone said that the old man who owned the shop, like his tasted like old man noodles and things. I don't know. It's just funny how they make such a big deal out of it, even when the show has nothing to do with it, really.
I mean, there was a whole anime movie based around food called Spirited Away. Mm-hmm. So the parents like find this huge buffet after being lost in the mountain for...
And they turn into pigs!
They turn into pigs because they eat all the offering food and now they're cursed and the daughter has to work their debt off for the whole
little girl.
Well, there's also Howl's Moving Castle. Howl's Moving Castle has like a whole thing where like they cook with a demon because the demon is like a living flame, so they use him to cook. And if he ever gets like sick, they have to like give him wood or charcoal to make him feel better.
Yeah, that's right.
And they only cook for Howl, and they're always making these huge feasts, these huge somehow slabs of bacon that don't shrink whenever he cooks them. But yes, cooking with the demon.
Infinibacon. It's like magic bacon.
Dude, this sounds delicious.
Now we're all hungry. Mm-hmm. Food in anime.
Yeah. I like how there's like always these classic dishes. No matter what anime you're watching, you can like see they don't just like draw noodles in a bowl. They draw ramen. They don't just draw like a circle with rice, you know, they draw like their little rice balls with the seaweed. Or, you know, they have the yakitori you can watch them make in like several animes. It's something about the way that they like to represent the food that they eat at home in their shows. It's part of their culture, though, the eating, the preparing it, the spending the time with their family when eating it. And so it's always cool to see that them include that part of their culture in what's supposed to be an adult cartoon, you know, which could just be magic or...
So what I'm hearing is we need to make an anime about gumbo.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, gumbo and crawfish.
That'll probably scare people.
Right.
Make the little crawfish scream.
You want to talk about
individual screams?
We're talking about scary food. Here's an idea. Where does all the Poke food come from in Pokemon? Because animals don't eat each other in that show, and yet you never see them making things out of meat, but yet they always have meat. Where does the meat come from?
What kind of meat are they giving them? They might... What if
they not have cows and chickens in Pokemon?
No,
magic meat.
Their cows are
mystery
Pokemon,
meat.
and they claim they don't eat the Pokemon. So,
but they might trick them into eating it. Maybe they cook the ones that died.
all your furry little favorite Pokemon are being eaten.
Oh no! It's like we're quietly just letting the game recycle Pokemon.
That's what happens when you transfer them to Professor Oak. They get turned into Poke food for the rest of the Pokemons. Just know when you're playing Pokemon Go and you transfer those Pokemon, they're being turned into
What do you think you're feeding your Pokemon?
Well, you don't feed them anything in Pokemon
The Fallen.
I've never played Pokemon Go.
Yeah, you don't feed them
You give them
anything.
candies?
Yeah.
Made of other Pokemon.
Yeah, actually, the candies that you feed them are made of the transferred Pokemon.
Are. Oh, this is so sad.
You never think about that.
Oh, you ruined Pokemon. It's a
They never look at the nature side. Like, you really think a Pidgey would be sitting by and letting that little Caterpie walk along without eating it?
No, they definitely eat Caterpies.
What about birdseed?
What about worms? That's
No,
exactly
one of the episodes, Ash saves Caterpie from a Pidgey, because it was trying to eat it. It's definitely a thing.
Oh.
They eat each other.
Okay, so they do.
Cute little sentient friends are all being cannibalized.
And now you know. is predominantly an educational program, Anime XM.
If you don't want your childhood animes ruined for you, don't invite the otaku to the studio.
Oh, and speaking of educational, our very next episode on Anime XM is going to be educating you on some words in the otaku world that you may not know, like best girl, best boy, and wife. And that's all for this week. Thanks for listening to Anime XM.
I'm Boba.
And I'm Mocha. Tune in next time.
Kamehameha!